What's cracking, folks? I've got a review video for you today. This is something I don't often do because it's usually information that's already available and I don't feel like I need to rehash it. But I couldn't find anything on this stuff and I took a chance on it, and now I'm going to give you my impressions. Hopefully this will help some of you out there. I am venturing into some new territory with both of these products. I've not owned any type of either one of these before, and this review is mostly to see how they work together because I couldn't find any adequate information to determine that before buying. So I hope this will be that video for you. Let's talk first about the so-called car cooler. Obviously I have the Bodega. This is the T56, I believe. It's the mid-size of this particular model. And I don't have anything else to compare it to. I haven't used it in the vehicle yet, but what I can say in the controlled testing, which is here in my kitchen, that it works as advertised. This does have dual zone capacity, so I've got freezer on one side and fridge on the other side, or you can take the divider out and just have it refrigerate. Both of those functions work. The one thing that is disappointing about this cooler is the Bluetooth connectivity. I eventually gave up after trying for around 2 hours. The problem that I ran into is there's no way to plug your phone in to make it connect. There is a USB output up here, but it's just output. There's no connectivity communication going on. The only way to get the Bluetooth to connect is to get them on the same network. But for this to read the network, your router has to be set on 2.4 gigahertz. I don't want to go through the hassle of changing my router just to connect to this. So I'd really like Bodega to come up with a different method of connecting Bluetooth. I do like the idea of being able to use all the functions. However, in all honesty, half the time that I'm using this, I'm probably going to be someplace where I don't have a cell signal, and so I wouldn't be able to use the Bluetooth feature anyway, I don't think. So that said, they also claim in the instructions that there is a 1 to 3 minute delay using Bluetooth for any changes to happen. I mean, at that point, I could walk over to it and change it instantly. So I don't know how practical the Bluetooth is or that I would use it. So that's not a big deal, but it is disappointing that it's so cumbersome to get it to connect. Now let's talk about the battery pack. This is the main reason for making this video, because I tried to find information on how long battery packs would be able to run these car coolers. I narrowed it down to one of two battery packs. Obviously the one I got is the Gooloo P600. I picked the Gooloo for three main reasons. At 626 watt hours, it has a higher capacity. A little under $200, right around $200 after promotions. It was almost half the price of the other option I was looking at. And I have two Gooloo battery packs that I have in some different vehicles, and they have worked fabulously, and I've been very impressed with the company as a whole. So I had confidence in their quality. The downside to the Gooloo, as far as comparing it to the other one I was looking at, is the charge time. Typical charge time on this, and most battery packs are in this range, is 6 to 10 hours depending on what means of charging you are using. The other one I was looking at was the EcoFlow River 2, and they claim that they can charge 100% in 1 hour's time. And that was tempting because if I'm running this off of a car alternator, which is the intent, being able to charge easier could have some advantage. However, in the end, I don't think that's going to be a significant deal, so I opted to go with the more economical Gooloo. Let me share the results. So when the battery pack was delivered, I was at a holiday party, so it did sit outside for a couple hours. When I got to it, it was cold. It was sub-freezing, and it had been sitting out there for a while. Out of the box, it was reading 78% charged, so it was usable out of the box. I opted to let it warm up before I ran any tests, and so I gave it overnight and ran tests the next day. When I powered it on the next day, it was still reading 78%. So the cold may affect how long it lasts, but the actual amount of charge that it had, it did not seem to impact that at all. So I plugged the cooler in. The cooler was at room temperature, so it did have to get down to the default temperatures, both freezing and cooling. So initially it was running pretty regular for about half an hour or so, and then from there just went into its maintenance mode, kicking on and off every couple of minutes. And over the course of 2 hours and 15 minutes, I lost approximately 14% of battery life from the battery pack. So doing the calculations, it comes down to about 6% per hour. The battery pack does have a reading for how much draw is coming out, and the cooler was drawing anywhere from 33 watts to about 45 watts. It is advertised to draw about 40, so if you average it out, it was right where it was supposed to be. And so drawing 6% per hour gives you a little over 16 hours. It would probably really run 17 to 18 because there's times that the cooler's not drawing anything. And so I perceive that the battery estimate is probably a little on the low end, and that's okay. The other thing that I verified with the Gooloo, and I do think that the EcoFlow advertised that it does this, but it does pass through usage or charging. And I verified that that does work. After I ran the initial test, I plugged the Gooloo in to the wall, and it did charge itself. And it charged actually much faster than I anticipated. I regained the 14% that I had lost while still running the cooler in about an hour. And then when I turned the cooler off, it finished charging the remaining 22% in about another hour. So you can use it and charge it at the same time. That's a bonus. That's pretty much how I expect to be using it. It's mostly going to be in the Jeep. When the Jeep is running, it will be keeping the battery pack charged. When the Jeep is off, the battery pack can run the fridge at least overnight. And that's probably primarily what I need it for. So it should suit my needs. So with that, I hope this review provides some useful information to you that I had a hard time finding. If it was helpful, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and or make a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.